Hey everyone, welcome to My Scaling YouTube channel. I'm your host Eddie Wang and welcome to a tutorial where we are going to give you the first baby steps to Ken execution, combos, philosophy and such. And I have been having a blast with this game, mostly playing Ken but also playing Zangief. And then I'm going to go over a lot of the characters in the game because ever since MK9 this is something that I almost never did in a long time, that is playing all the characters in the roster. And I think each character in this game brings something unique and interesting that is worth going over, especially because the general mechanic of the game is so easy to understand and it's pretty fun. So I'm going to start with Ken, which is the character that I have been playing in the last 3 days. Obviously a little bit of Zangief as well, but mostly Ken. And I want to talk about how his combo works. I know you are going to see a lot of videos out there doing a lot of drive rush combos in the air with juggles. Believe me, Ken is not about that. It's not that it's not fun to do, it is, but fundamental wise this is a game where you don't want to really be in a burnout state. So when you use your gouge, you're gonna have to use with a lot of purpose. If you are doing to do combo damage, that's great, but then you're gonna have to learn how to play without it as well, which I am not much of a fan of because Ken really depends on having his gouge for pressure. That is the main thing about his drive gouge, because he also has quite a few things. So for example, he can combo two ways in this game, when character is standing and when characters are crouching. In the two forms, in the two positions, standing or crouching, Ken has two different routes. But let's start with the easiest one first because this is general consensus on what Ken is about. And Ken is all about Chin Buster. So this move right here, medium into heavy, is the target combo, Chin Buster. It's very practical for Ken, and most of your damage is going to come from this. So he also has an additional mechanical, which is the run mechanic, something he gained on Street Fighter 5, and now he can cancel them with just sudden stop. He can also do the migrate, right, the step kick. And just to show you real quick, the step kick is safe if you hit at the distance. No one is going to punish this from here, but you also have the overhead, which is -3, and it's safe even up close. And you can still jump, do a shoryuken, whatever if people are trying to challenge you right after. He also has Clipper. I just call it Clipper. This is the Dragon Lash, and Dragon Lash is not safe, it's -4. The medium version is also not safe and is very punishable at -8. Only the biggest version is +1, but the startup is longer, but it allows you to check characters with something else. For example, this move right here, the crushing light, right? Crushing light is very big for Ken. Let's just leave it at that. It's because it allows you to confirm Chin Buster, and you can do 20 damage just like that. Chin Buster is very important for Ken in this aspect in general. As you can see, you can do 90% damage from it, or you can do a lot more, right? So that is 20%, and that is a great ender. You can also do this, also works, but it's not really practical unless of course you are in a corner, which is going to give you an extension. So what really makes Ken game go oh she's Gizengard is the run mechanic, and the run is almost the equivalent of having the drive gouge, but mostly for 3 things. His statue is shoryuken, right, VP, and the Clipper moves will all change when Ken runs. For example, if you run into a statue, he's going to get a wall carry. If you run into a VP, he's going to have an insane horizontal travel shoryuken, as you guys can see, which is 14 frames startup, 9 frames startup, it says. But it goes really fast. It used to be Ken's standard VP range from just a big shoryuken, but now he has it from run, so you can do this. And projectile invincible as well. So a huge plus for Ken, right? On top of that, this is the most damaging ender as well. And he also has the clipper. But the problem with the clipper is that when you clip people with this move, meter or not, it's always going to be +8. That's because Dragon Lash on its own, it's around +8 to +9. So this move is just about the same. It's literally a medium Dragon Lash that is -8, but powered up by the run. So you can do full screen stuff with it. Just don't do Dragon Lash if you run, right? I suggest you just do the kick or do, he cannot have a ducking from that. Just do the step kick or stop and go for it, or stop into drive rush, which is +11. Okay. Yeah, it's -3. But there was a situation where I was seeing +11. I need to re-watch this. But still, this is pretty much what run does. But why is this so important? For example, in a game where characters have to spend a bar to do this, right? Ken doesn't need to spend his bar to do this combo. Actually, he can just run into clipper and do this. It works. Let's see. There you go. So it's exactly the same damage, right? It's exactly the same damage as doing this. You can just do this. So this is the main thing you are going to be using Ken for. So the run is going to give your Dragon Lash an extension at cost of switching sides, and everything else is going to be either more damage with this, for example. This is going to do more damage, 21, and this going to do a damage in Tatsu that is going to carry the opponent and still give some Oki. See, you get Okizeme from that. Some people like to time it with a jab, but you can just really wait and go for it. And we are going to cover those moves later on, but just bear with me right here. I'm a bit slower, and I'm just explaining you why you want to do some of these things. So as I said, this standing damage comes mostly from Shin Buster, and Shin Buster is what is going to do most of Ken damage. So Dragon Lash is going to be unique in this aspect because it allows you to extend your damage at cost of nothing other than switching sides with your opponent. So you can also use Crushing Light. Crushing Light is a very important tool on Ken's arsenal because it allows you to constrain Shin Buster. Obviously it's going to do less damage if you go for this rat because this is going to do a lot more without the hit constraint. Sorry. This is going to do a lot more, as you guys can see, but it's amazing still. So after that, if you want the run and you want the enders, you will start to understand how this works. So if you do this, you're going to do 21. If you do from a jumping, for example, a cross up, let's say you land a cross up, right, or just this, you're going to do 27. From a cross up, this is allowed, but it's less than 25, so just go from this, which is also great. You can do this, 27 at cost of nothing, as you guys are understanding. So that is how his combo progresses. So if you add one more move, and you get to spend less. This is 27. Sorry. This is 30% damage and at cost of nothing. And if you add, like for example, a drive rush, right, combo, let's say, I don't think it's needed because Ken relies only for pressure. But if you add a drive rush combo, for example, you are going to do 23% damage just by doing that. And you can add a super here and there and expand this to 27, 40%, whatever. But that is mostly how Ken works. So you can do this as well. You can do this. That is 29% damage, right? Just from a crouching first into a drive rush into standing kick, which is going to be +5. Exactly, +5, enough for a Shin Buster. As I said, Shin Buster is really important for Ken in this game, and that is one of the reasons. So I say the drive rush is not important there, but you can use to expand some combos, but it's really not necessary. So it is the character that is very economic, because the run where characters can spend 2 bars to do like some decent damage, Ken can spend only 1 bar, and that is one of his main purpose. But as the combo progresses, this also changes. For example, let's say now I have a counter hit, right? And on counter hit, everything you did for the damage you did with 1 bar, with 3 bars of drive rush, for example, now you can do with nothing. For example, if you have a counter hit crouching first into run sudden stop, Ken is at +5. Now you can do this, right? Now you can do this. See, now you did really 1. You can also do this. This needs some practice actually. This is crouching first into run. You have to let go down. If you hold down and you press the run, Ken is not going to run. It's going to cancel each other out. So you have to let go and then go for it. So it's kind of a muscle memory problem. This is day 2. Sorry for that. So when you do this, now you can do 31% from a counter hit, right? Sadly, you cannot do this from a standing, because standing doesn't give enough advantage for it. But you can still do, like for example, you can do this. And you're going to do 23% damage. So as I said, what you did with 1 bar, for example, some characters right there would spend 2 bars. So imagine Ken run into sudden stop as a bar per se. That is what I'm trying to say. So when you do this, right, you do this, you are going to do a lot of damage at cost of 3 bars of drive gouge, because I have to cancel the Shin Buster, right? That is one of the main things, and this is a lot for Ken. It's around, I don't exactly know how plus this is on cancel, but it's enough to connect this. So I believe over +12. So huge, this is huge for Ken. So crouching first into this is great on counter hits, but on punish counter, if you punish someone standing, this is going to be even better, because now it's +7. Since that is +7, the power version is also +7. So it means that you can connect a crushing mid kick, and then you get to spend your bar with a drive rush cancel into power into run sudden stop. So more something like this. You can do the same from a standing position, as long as you are fast enough to connect, and you get to do the same thing over and over. So it means that up close, this combo will also work. Sadly, you cannot do this from distance, so if you are from distance, you're gonna have to run cancel with a drive rush in order to get a better extension. Of course, this Dragon Lash works, but Dragon Lash is not going to be plus enough for Ken to start anything else unless characters are broken. But we are going to look over those in more powers in the game, because Ken doesn't have a mid-release extension from a standing first from distance. You're gonna have to drive rush Or you do that, or you do this power version, which also works. That is going to spend all the resources. So you better off just doing this, which is 31, or you can just do a much simpler version. And also do 31% damage. So this one is easier, and this one is technical, but you don't really want to, unless you are really flexing on your opponent and trying to assert your dominance. This is the combo to do. This is the combo to do. So continuing talking about counters. So crushing medium is +5 on counter hit as well. So if you land this, you are allowed to connect a shin buster. So as you guys see in the pattern right here, right? So this is a hit consumable 3, and it allows you to do 30% damage. Of course, you can do this far more if you land crouching fierce. I just call it power, sorry. I think it's much easier. My country calls this move power. Every single crouching fierce that goes an uppercut, my country calls it power. So you just use power into run cancel, which is also +5, and you can do this. You can also do with crushing medium, do this. You're going to do a lot as well. You can just do this. Sorry. And you're going to do 23 damage with this powered version, right? This power is quite more powerful than it looks. So this is huge for Ken because you can use this. Sadly, this is 6 frames, so it doesn't connect anything else. You have to do with this combo. Of course, you can go fancy, but the more fancy you go, the more scaling is going to be applied for your combo. 20%, right? Where before I did, like, for example, I did 33. So this one is going to do 31, right? Which is the same as that combo at cost of 1 bar. So that combo is unnecessary. And you can do this, as I already said before. You can also change enders right there and do quite a lot more damage. For example, you can do this. Sorry. 32 damage, right? So that other combo is still great in that matter. Of course, you can spend a bar of super because super spends differently from the drive gauge. So you can just do this. And that's 36 damage, right? So as you guys are seeing the natural evolution of combo Ken or Ken combos. And you can still do decent, right? As I already showed you. That's a lot of damage at cost of nothing. So this is one of the particularities that I love about Ken in this game. So his run does a lot for him. Alright, now let's talk about doing crouching combos with Ken. And he has this loop right here. That is a pretty damaging combo, but still, that's because his combo philosophy on crouching character, you need to be able to recognize when they are crouching so you can apply that loop. And that loop does a lot of damage and of course spends most of the resources, but you can also be very careful with how you spend your meter. and just do more with less, right? And so in Ken's case, for example, is Dragon Lash move, right? The Dragon Lash is +1 on block, the high version. It's +1, but on crouching characters it's +2. And at +2, for example, this is +4. Your opponent, even if they try to jab you, you are going to beat loops or anything else that is not invincible, frame invincible, trying to start against anything you do from there, right? So this is fundamentals pretty much. But when you land, for example, this move on hit, block count, let's put after first hit. So when you land this move on hit, you are allowed to go for this immediately, right? You are allowed to go for this immediately, or you can do this. See? You can do this kind of combos. You can obviously loop as much as Dragon Lash as possible, which I already showed you, so I won't be able to show you again. But the most important thing here is that Dragon Lash is able to connect on crouching characters and allows them to do combos at spend of like similar to doing this, right? But this one needs to be meaty, but the Dragon Slash doesn't. But if you really want to combo, you're gonna have to use the telegraphed version, which kind of sucks. The medium version and the light version are all punishable on block. So it comes down to this most of the time. So what other ways Ken has to combo from crouching? He also has this, the step kick, but it needs to be a counter hit. This also needs to be a counter hit. And Dragon Lash is the only one that allows you to combo on normal hit. But there is only one way to connect a Dragon Lash on normal hit, which is from crouching. Standing heavy allows you to connect. The other moves are going to connect on counter hit only. So this one is your biggest move to do this. And you are going to do quite a lot of damage. See? But this loop right here can spend quite a lot already. So try to be conservative unless you are going for a kill. And that is how his loops works. But when the damage or the combo progresses, for example, into counter hit, this is a territory where Ken is going to be the most dangerous. For example, his meta is allowing characters to try to prevent him to do pressure, then he is allowed to do this kind of combos. For example, if you land an overhead now, he's going to do that exact same damage at cost of a counter hit and no meter at all, right? So you can now do this. See? You can now do this. That's 34. That's 35, right? Pretty much. But you can also do this with step kick. Step kick is +5, and you can do like this is 29, right? Man, I'm so slow. There you go. So that's 31. Oh, sadly, you cannot combo from a light, even if you are up close. So you're gonna have to improvise this with standing ninja. Right? All you're gonna have to do is that's how it works. That's pretty cool, right? So those are the main primary tools for Ken to do combos and counter hit. But you can also reach the same goal if the block count, for example, it's on 1 and they are trying to reverse out you on block. Right? So you do Dragon Lash and then you can start. And you are going to do a lot of damage anyway. See? It doesn't work. All you can do with this. See? So the step kick also works. The step kick also works. See? So that is his meta game, his fundamental game is based around that. You can also do this, let's see if you can do this. Yes, that works as well. You can do this. So the jump which is so small that you can do this stuff, right? We covered this on the standing, right? So you guys can now see the application. That's pretty much it, how his meta game works. At the wall, Ken combo philosophy changes as well because he gets to look at different structure of combos at the wall because of Jinrai kicks. So here you're gonna have to learn to time your Jinrai kicks as well because it's a little bit strict with it and you're gonna have to learn how to loop without missing. Otherwise, if you are coming from a very long combo that spends all your resources, I mean your drive gouge, your Dragon Lash loops, and then you end on a wall, this is the loop you're gonna will be able to do next. And if you manage to do all this entire combo, then you get to do 50% damage, 55, 57, 58% damage. I believe it's max damage in combo for Ken at 58, and it's huge for him. So what I mean is that you're still going to use Shin Buster for that, but note that his Jinrai kicks are going to do most of the work as well. So meaning that this is going to be comboable. Doesn't work that way, but you can do this. Sorry. That works. That also works and nets a lot of damage. And that's because it's just under hit. And you can also do this with a medium Jinrai kick if you land a Shin Buster, which allows you to do a light DP, a medium DP, and even a strong DP. All work, and you can still do Dragon Lash from this at the cost of 1 bar to do 27, or you can really just do the EX version, loop it on itself with the strong version, then the mid version, and then you get to use a super cancel just to net the most damage. So something like this. You can cancel there with a super. So that gives you guys an idea, and that does a lot of damage. So coming from a long combo loop into that is going to net a lot of damage, it's going to exert a lot of damage. And finally, the hardest loop that Ken has is with Light Jinrai. this one because it loops on itself and you need to load the timing correctly, otherwise it doesn't work. That works, and it's not only that, you can also cancel that with a super in the end and do the most damaging combo ever with Ken, and it's going to do around 57-58 damage depending on how you do the loop. So I'm going to show you the max damaging combo next before we close this video. There you go, that's going to do 53%, and if you are in critical art, it's going to do 58 damage. So that is really huge for Ken. And so I'm going to cover next fundamentals, but it's going to be on a different video. I know this video has been quite stressful to put out, and if you enjoy this content, please give your like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I will be covering Ken first, then I will be going over all other characters in the game as I progress through it as well. So hope you guys still around, and see you guys in the next video.